Hey guys, my name is Chris Freeman and thanks for joining me at Food Bar. Today I'm going to teach you a little bit about sous vide cooking. I'm going to compare two ribeyes cooked two different ways to show you some of the pros and cons of sous vide cooking. Now, sous vide is a style of slow cooking where ingredients are vacuum sealed and slow cooked for an extended amount of time. None of the water gets in, none of the juices get out. Similar to smoking and roasting, this method uses a low temperature for usually about an hour or two, upwards of 18 hours, to reach your desired result. My goal today is to show you that restaurants can use the downtime to prep meals ahead, and that can help deliver perfectly cooked, high quality dishes in half the time.
So today we're going to be testing this on some certified Angus ribeyes. This is going to be choice grade. They're about 1.25 inches thick. We're going to hit them with some sea salt and some smoked cracked pepper. We're just going to set them out here for about 20 minutes or so. Let them pull out some of the moisture, and that moisture will get soaked back in. So I use an Innova Precision Cooker. The mobile app is absolutely amazing. It has recipes. You can set it to within 1/10 of a degree. Here's where I made my mistake though. I set it to 127.5. That's the finished product temperature. I forgot to factor in the skillet cooking, so I should have set it at 120. I tested this out on sirloins and strips later. 120 is the way to go. Just showing a quick time lapse of exactly how this works. I've not only cooked steak in this, I've also done chicken as well as pork as well as fish. I had no challenges. It does more than just proteins, but it's a great way to cook up proteins ahead of time and just have them ready to go whenever you need to. Also great for marinade. So now it's been about 20 minutes. As you can see, the seasoning has soaked into the meat. That means it's tenderized and ready to go. Since we're going to be bagging this, there's no way to really get smoke into the bag. So one little trick I do is I like to flash burn some of these fresh herbs. So right now I'm going to be taking rosemary. In a second I'll be doing thyme as well, and just giving it a little bit of a scorch. By doing so, you get a little bit of smoky flavor into the bag, and we'll be seeing a few other ingredients going in as well. But this is just a cool little trick you can do without having to use liquid smoke or another little cheater. So with these, I use the 1 quart food saver bags. I like this particular brand because it has a padded piece of paper to absorb additional juices, so it's not spilling out all into your food saver bag. Keep in mind, I'm going to be going extremely slow on this. Not to show you how to do it, I just like to take my time because I'm in my own kitchen. In a commercial setting, you can do this a heck of a lot quicker. It's also going to be having about 2 tablespoons of butter, that smoked rosemary and thyme that I mentioned. And I found these elephant garlic bulbs, which are phenomenal. They're a little bit tamer in the garlic flavor, and they actually have a little bit of a sweeter taste. The good thing about them is that you can cut them a little thick and make your own little garlic chips. That is not enough to burn yourself, so don't worry too much about the water. It's going to be hot water, it's not going to be scorching water by any means. This particular rack can hold about 5 additional items. The good thing is you can remove slots of the rack to accommodate any size you need. All right, I love cooking with a cast iron skillet. I don't know if a lot of you do. I could have done this on a flat top grill or an open flame grill. I chose to do this in a cast iron skillet because I wanted to give it the absolute best chance for this particular steak. In my opinion, these have a more even heat anyway, so I'll be able to cook this more evenly and quicker and see exactly how it would do in a commercial setting by giving it the fastest cook as possible. If you're wondering why I threw the butter in second and not first, it's because the oil has a higher burn smoke temp than butter does. If you just throw the butter straight in, you're going to end up scorching the butter, and then you're just going to have a taste of burnt butter steak, and that's no good. Also, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch me cook an entire steak. This sucker takes about 12 to 15 minutes just because of the thickness of it and the lower temperature to keep the butter from burning. But that said, one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because I've been to dozens of kitchens where I've seen line cooks poke, prod, move, shuffle the steaks around. I'm trying to show you that the only thing I'm doing is everything around it but the steak. You should not be moving the steak around. It doesn't need any help. It will cook faster if you leave it alone. Flip it once, call it good. I'd like to also point out really quick, those elephant bulbs, the elephant garlic, are phenomenal. If you haven't tried roasting garlic or searing garlic, eating it directly on the steak, it is absolutely phenomenal. I'm throwing the herbs in as well just so it'll infuse with the butter so that we get this nice butter garlic herbs. Alright, cutting two, we're ready for the flip. As you can see, that garlic is looking awesome. Got a pretty decent sear. As you can see, it's not exactly a nice dark char. However, there again, I'm cooking it at a slightly lower temperature. This is going to set probably close to about 325, 350. And of course, we're going to be basting it as well. If you're watching this video, you probably already know this, but when meat gets seared, it acts the exact same way as when you burn yourself. You completely retract, and that's what muscles do. That's why you see a lot of shrinkage with meat. It's not always just the fat burning out of it. So the reason I'm basting it is so that when you take it away from the heat, flip it over, the muscle will try to reabsorb any liquid it can. So we're going to give it some good old liquid. Now we just set it aside, let it rest, get all the little goodies for it. I'm telling you again, try to eat a steak with some of those little pieces of garlic on top. So now the sous vide's done, we're going to go ahead and pull that out. I'm going to like to show you a little bit what it looks like after it's done cooking for about 40 minutes to an hour. The interesting thing about sous vide is that when it's done cooking, you'll be able to see that it'll be medium rare all the way through, from the top all the way to the bottom. That means all you need is a very quick sear, and the pan is nice and hot. As you can see, the butter is smoking. I figured, why not just leave the remaining butter from the previous one in there. We got some nice butter on the inside of this anyway that's been infused, so we're just going to pour that right in. Gonna grab the steak, and as always, set it close and put it away. That way it splashes away from you and not at you. And once again, I'm not going to make you sit here and watch the entire dang thing, so we're going to speed it up a little bit. So, this only took about a minute and a half to 2 minutes of actual time. Once again, basting. Now, in my defense, I did let that overcook just a hair. Sorry about the color difference, by the way. Turns out that a time lapse versus real time has a little bit of different camera coloring. Pull that aside, we're going to let that rest. Once again, topping it off with its little accoutrements. And there you have it. The skillet is on the left, the sous vide is on the right. Skillet looking a little bit darker because it's had a lot more direct heat to it. So you're going to have a little more caramelization and crispness. The sous vide, of course, looks, don't get me wrong, it looks absolutely amazing. You'd be hard pressed not to take either of these steaks. So we're going to cut up this skillet ribeye real fast, get a good look at it. I'm just going to show you a little quick side profile, let you know exactly how it cooked out. I mean, point in case right there. Just the knife point tore the meat apart. Caught it right on the fat cap and just with no resistance. You can tear it with your hands. And yeah, that little piece decided to stay home. And the sous vide ribeye. Once again, I overcooked it just a hair, but watch this knife cut. There is no resistance. Even though it came out a little overcooked, this sucker is absolutely tender. It's almost like we did a very quick prime rib and then just seared the prime rib. Even though it came out more of a medium, almost a medium well by the time it was done, which was my fault. I set the temp wrong and left it on the scale a little long, but it was still insanely tender. Was not too tough to chew through at all. As you can see, easy to break apart. This one went to the wife, and the left hand went to me.
So how did we stack up? Well, the traditional grilling ended up being a little more tender, a little under rare, a little under medium rare, uh, but just buttery. It was super easy to chew through without any challenge whatsoever. The sous vide, however, in a little bit of a surprise, turned out to have a lot more seasoning, a lot more flavor added to it, even though I did a very similar preparation to both. What that tells me is that you don't need as much seasoning, you don't need as aggressive salting in order to flavor this particular cut of beef. Now, in the grilling process, I'm sure a lot of the flavor gets either seared out or remains in the juice left behind in the pan. With sous vide, that's not the case.
So to recap a little further, the only real benefit to flat top or open flame grilling is based simply on the skill of the grill master. If they can pump out and do an accurate steak every time, go for it. It's a great way to do it, especially with the smoke you get. On discussing sous vide, the great thing is you will get a very consistent product if you don't oversear it like I did. You can also do multiple types of proteins in it without having to worry too much about taking up too much of your grill. The benefit of this, of course, is that you have a very quick turnover on your plating, so you can get in and out from order to plate in about 5 minutes. Why I found this interesting is simply because the footprint of the kitchen, which is normally about a quarter to a third of the size of the building for the restaurant, is cut in half when they exclusively use sous vide cooking. They simply just don't need nearly as much equipment in the building. Additionally, you need a lot less training for the staff members in the kitchen, and incidentally, a lot less staff members. Well, I hope this video has helped, and if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them below. Send me a comment. Let me know what you think about how this video went. If there's something you want to see in the future, go ahead and leave a comment as well. Don't forget to like the video, as well as hit the notification bell. You know what to do with that, and I hope you all have a great day, and thanks for joining Food Bar.